Hey, I'm Diana, creator of Money Boss Mama. If you are new here, I teach women how to become a money boss from the inside out by shifting their mindsets, paying off debt, and saving money. You can learn more about me on my website, moneybossmama.com. But in today's video, I'm going to be giving you 7 quick tips that you can use to pay off your student loans faster. Before we roll on, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my uploads, and let's get into it. So just a little background story about me. I graduated college in 2015 with around $19,900 in student loan debt. And I remember being so overwhelmed by that amount because number one, I was extremely young. I was a young mom and I was broke. So I ran for my student loans as long as I could. And ever since the end of the grace period, I have been on an income-driven repayment plan. And when I was low income, my payments were actually $0. So by the time I started my debt-free journey in September of 2017, my student loans had increased to the 20,000s because interest was accruing and I was not really making any payments. And originally I thought that I was just going to make the minimum payments and die with my student loans. But of course, when I set on a debt-free journey, I made the decision to pay off all of my debt, no matter how crazy I thought that I was. And of course, student loans had to go as well. To date, I have paid off $8,311 from January 2020 till now, and we still have 6 months left of 2020 left to go. So that amount to me is huge. And I've used most of these 7 tips to do that. So let's roll into it so you can do the same. So tip number 1, you need to settle on a debt payoff journey that complements both your behavior and your financial situation. And a lot of times I think when we think of debt payoff strategies or anything debt, we tend to leave behavior out of the chat. But what most people fail to realize is that your behavior and the way that you manage your money, the way that you spend your money, those things are deeply intertwined with your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, aka your behavior. So whenever you are settling on a debt payoff strategy, you have to take that into consideration, as well as what is most comfortable for you at where you are with your finances right now. 2 of the most common debt payoff strategies that are used are the snowball method and the avalanche method. The snowball method is when you basically start by paying on your smallest debt balance first. So let's say that you have 3 student loans. So student loan number 1 is $5,500. Student loan number 2 is $6,000 and student loan number 3 is $3,000. Using the snowball method, you will start with the $3,000 balance first because it is the lowest balance. And so that does not mean that you're not going to pay on your other student loans. You're just going to make the minimum payment, but you're going to put most of your focus and money towards that $3,000 balance to get that one knocked out first. This strategy is super helpful for those who need extra boost of motivation on this journey, who tend to kind of want to quit when things get tough, and paying off debt is tough, especially student loans. So it's really important to take into consideration how strong you are mentally. And this debt payoff strategy will allow you to see your debt dwindling a lot faster because you're starting with a smaller balance. And when you get that $3,000 balance knocked out, or the smallest balance, you will then take the money that you were using as that payment and roll it over to the next smallest balance. And that way you're getting your snowball rolling, and you will just continue on hopping from smallest balance to smallest balance until you get them all paid off. With the avalanche method, you will start by paying on the balance with the highest interest rate first. And if you are a numbers person, then this may be the strategy for you, because mathematically this strategy does make the most sense. When you start with your high interest rate debts first, you tend to save the most money and the most time. And just like with the snowball method, when you are focusing on that high interest debt balance and get it paid off, you will roll over that payment to the next balance with the highest interest rate, and then continue on jumping from highest interest rate to highest interest rate until your student loans are paid off. Now, I will say with the avalanche method, you do have to be really strong mentally and very patient, because when you are battling high interest debts, most or a lot of your payment is going to the interest charges first, and then whatever is left over is going to your principal balance. So you're duking it out with your interest charges before you really get to see any progress. And it's not until you start to get that principal balance down that most of your payment, or a lot more of your payment, will then go to the principal balance, and then you'll begin to see progress. But you have to stay patient and just stay the course until you can get those balances down if you choose to use this method. Tip number 2 is to make extra room in your budget so that you can beef up your student loan payment. There is no easier way to find extra money than combing through your budget and cutting and or reducing your expenses. And a lot of the times we think that there is nothing else that we can cut out or reduce in our budget, but chances are there is. And I remember when I was paying off my auto loan and my credit cards, I was really needing to increase my debt payment because I was still considered low income, and the progress was just not happening as fast as I would have liked it to. So I went through my budget. Didn't think that I would be able to find anything to cut and or reduce because I already felt like I was living on Skid Row. But I was able to squeeze out an extra $350 from my budget to use towards my debt payments or any other thing that I needed to take care of that I wasn't able to take care of before because I didn't have the money. One of the ways you can free up extra money is to negotiate a lower payment with your service providers. And this was something that I did not know was possible until I tried it. I thought that your payment was just your payment and that was it. But to my surprise, if you have been a loyal customer, especially a long-term customer who has always kept your accounts in good standing, companies are more willing to work with you because they want to keep your business. So contact your service providers, such as those who service maybe your cable or Wi-Fi plan, your auto insurance companies, etc., and just see if you can lower your payment. Let them know that the payment that you have is not in your budget, and see if there are any ways in which you can get that amount down. I did this with my Wi-Fi provider, and to my surprise, I was able to be moved into a cheaper plan, so that saved me a little extra coins. Another thing that you can do is cancel any subscriptions and or memberships that you are not using, such as your gym membership. If you have been saying that you're going to go back to the gym and you are just letting this $10, $20 being deducted from your account every single month because you don't think it's that much, you really are wasting money every single month, and you could be using that money to go to your student loan payments. It seems like, $10 a month is not that much, but adding it up, that's $120 a year. Never underestimate the amount that you are able to free up in your budget, because those small amounts do add up. Another way to free up money is to reduce your personal funds, aka your fund money. And when you are drowning in student loan debt, there is no reason you should be out living La Vida Loca anyway. And just remember that any sacrifices that you make on this journey are only temporary, and the faster you pay off your student loan debt, the faster you can get back to the life that you once were living. Now, I actually have a free expense reduction checklist that I created to help you find more money in your budget. I have done these things to find that extra $350 in mine, so I will leave the link down in the description box so that you can click and download your list. Tip number 3 is to calculate your minimum debt payment. And no, this is not the minimum that your lender has calculated. So this minimum debt payment will be your number. This will be the total amount of money that you are going to be sending to your student loan debt each month. And if you have a budget, it's going to make this really easy, because you will need to list all of your expenses, all of your minimum debt payments, your savings contributions, and subtract that amount from your income. And based on however much money you have remaining in excess, aka your spendable income, then determine how much you can safely add to your student loan debt payment. Now, I don't recommend using all of your spendable income and adding it to your minimum debt payment, because we all know life is unpredictable. Something may happen, things may not have worked out for you that month, and you want to have a buffer to help you out during those times where things just don't go right. And depending on how much money that you add from your spendable income, then that total will be your minimum debt total. And this is the minimum that you will apply to your debt each month. And I say not to use all of your spendable income because you will have to commit to sending this amount. If you send more, that's great, but this is bottom line. When you know how much you are sending to your student loan debt each month, it helps to organize your debt payoff journey, and it makes it really easy to set financial goals because you know how much you have to work with. It also helps to keep you on budget because you know that you have to send at least that amount each and every month. And if you come up short, you know how much extra money that you need to come across to make sure you are hitting your numbers. Tip number 4 is to refinance your student loans at a lower rate. And whenever you refinance, you are taking out a new loan to replace your existing loans, and this typically comes with a new rate and a new term. Refinancing may be a good option if your finances have stabilized and your credit score has increased, so you're able to land a lower interest rate, because of course when you reduce your interest rate, you are reducing your interest charges. So this has the potential to save you thousands and reduce your debt payoff time dramatically. But one thing you want to do to maximize refinancing is not to extend your term. If you opt for a lower term, it may lower your payment, but you may be paying out more in interest over the life of the loan than you were originally. And that is because your lender has more time to charge you interest. And one thing I do want to know is that if you do choose to refinance, you will not be able to participate in income-driven repayment plans or student loan forgiveness, and your payments may be higher than they were originally. So you want to make sure that you are able to comfortably afford a higher payment consistently if you choose to go this route. Tip number 5 is to consolidate your student loans. So if refinancing was not the right option for you, then there is still another option, and that is consolidation. When you choose to consolidate your student loans, you are going to be combining all or some of your federal student loans into one under one term and one payment. And I will say that this is not generally seen as a money saving option because consolidation does not lower your interest rate. Instead, it's going to take the average of your prior rates and round it up to the nearest 1/8 of 1%. Consolidation is beneficial to those who find it difficult to keep up with multiple loans, multiple rates, and multiple lenders because it's combining all into one. And if you have a variable interest rate, when you consolidate, it will become fixed. So it makes it a lot easier to budget and a lot easier to take control over your debt payoff because you are only making one payment. With a direct consolidation loan, consolidating is completely free, and you still have the option to participate in income-driven repayment plans and student loan forgiveness. And a perk is that the clock resets itself with deferment and forbearance timeframes, so that benefit is extended. Now, I will say that a lot of people are attracted to consolidation because of the lower payment. But if your payment is lowering, that means that you are extending your repayment period. So you are going to be coming out a lot more because of interest charges than you would have paid originally. So if you choose to consolidate and you want to pay your student loans off fast, be sure to keep your term the same. Otherwise, it may not be worth it. Tip number 6 is to make large payments using extra money. And I wish I could shout this from the rooftops. This was number 1 that has helped me excel in my debt-free journey, especially when I did not have a lot of money. So anytime a tax refund or a school check or whatever comes into your hands, be sure you are taking advantage of it. This will not only put you ahead of the game, but it will help you cut down on interest charges and just really help you fly through your debt payoff journey. During the times you are not getting any refunds, pick up a side hustle. And this is anything that you do for extra money on the side. So it's not your main thing like your day job. It's like a side piece. It's something that you do for extra income. And when I say side hustle, a lot of people turn up their nose because they're like, okay, well, I'm already short on time. I'm already stretched thin. I don't have enough time to pick up another job. But literally, you can just do this in your spare time and still make money. You can monetize a skill such as doing hair, baking, cleaning, freelancing, tutoring. Literally, the list goes on and on. So I recommend writing down 3 of your skills that you can monetize and try to see how you can incorporate that into your day-to-day or your week or your month-to-month, just so you can make some extra money, and then discipline yourself to apply that extra money to your student loan debt. And whenever I was a full-time working mom, I'm still a full-time working mom, I was freelancing, making up to $400 per month just by working in my spare time, like using my weekends and really leveraging my time so that I could pay off my auto loan and my credit card debt a lot faster. So I know if I could do it, anyone can do it. And if you are really serious about getting out of debt, then you will find the time to do what you need to do to get these loans knocked out. Tip number 7 is to break up your monthly payments into multiple payments per month. And when you opt to break up your monthly payment into 2, you will wind up making an extra payment per year due to there being 52 weeks in a year. And making bi-weekly payments will also help you to cut down on the time it will take you to pay off your student loans, and you will also wind up paying a lot less in interest charges. For example, let's say that you owe $25,000 in student loan debt with a 7% interest rate. If you are on a 10-year repayment plan, this will put your monthly payment at $297.27. If you opt to make bi-weekly payments, this will cut off 13 months from your debt payoff journey, and you will wind up saving over $1,100 in interest charges. This is a strategy that I personally use, but some lenders may not allow you to break up your monthly payment. So check with them and make sure that this is an option for you. And also, for any extra money that you will be applying to your student loans, you want to apply that extra money to principal only. So you want to make principal only payments. And to do this, you may have to contact your lender, call them and let them know how to apply your payment, contact them or write a letter, etc. Whatever process that you have to make. So before you apply any extra money to your student loans, be sure to get with your lender and let them know that you want to make principal only payments, just so that you are able to cut down on interest charges and get your student loans knocked out a lot faster. So these were my 7 quick tips for paying off your student loans fast, and I hope that you guys found this super helpful. Leave in the comment section below how you are paying off your student loan debt, how much you have paid off, how much you have remaining, etc. Just share with us your journey, and be sure to subscribe because I do upload videos every single week that you don't want to miss. But in the meantime, I will catch you all next week.